What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Monday afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you're watching around the world. You'll notice we're a little bit late, 7 minutes past the hour. And you'll notice also there's one person that isn't here right now. So, but he's never late. So, I mean, those rumors about KG. I mean, in fairness, he did call me and say he was going to be late, but still late though, isn't he? He's an absolute disgrace. He's a cheat. So when he does show up, you let him know. It's unacceptable, okay? As Antonio Conte said, the lateness is a disgraceness. But I hope everyone is doing well. Big up Mina and Marcel joining me. It feels like I'm jumping in on the Red Room, a Monday morning version of the Red Room. How's everyone doing?
It's the fact that you think it's Monday morning.
Oh, afternoon. Honestly, like literally, I saw in the chat someone says, "Owen, have you slept?" I have caught up on my sleep, but then it makes me more tired. So people that don't realize, I did the morning show this morning on 2 hours of sleep. I was doing a stream last night until 5 o'clock in the morning, and then was up at like 7 to prep for the show. Come on, dedication. Yeah, that's what we like to see. But that means I'm pretty much out of it today. So heavy lifting, you guys. How are you guys doing there? Enough about me.
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Feeling positive about the club, obviously, as per usual. And I was speaking a bit off camera. I'm preparing for the season, obviously, personally, trying to get into a football team, into a Sunday league football team. So I'm doing my sprints and that. But in terms of the club, man, I'm off the porridge right now. I'm on the pancakes in the morning, just nice pancake, sitting down, relaxing, because I know that we're going to be going through a good summer window.
Marcel, do you share that energy, Mina?
Whatever he's on, whatever drug he's on, keep that far away from me. Keep it far away from me, because he's so optimistic. That's not even optimism. That's delusion. I think it's delusion. It's not optimism anymore. But because Marcel's such a good person, I'm going to let him live in the world that he's living in, because he's such a cool guy. But I don't agree. But I'm good, man. I'm good. Nice weather. Can't complain. Summer's here.
Yeah.
I can't let Man United spoil my mood. I can't.
No, that is true. And it must be said, guys, when we were sort of getting things together to do this show, looking at the news, still kind of the same as where we were. But what is interesting, what we're going to talk about today, this evening, is more of the Mason Mount stuff, because you guys haven't had your say that much on it. Also, some other midfield targets that United possibly could be looking at. So let's start off and give a bit of an update on the state of play when it comes to Manchester United's midfield options. So Mason Mount, let's start with him. Now, it's coming from the Daily Telegraph this evening that Mason Mount will report for training and make himself available for Chelsea's pre-season tour of the United States if a move to Manchester United remains on hold, which as of right now it does. What about Adrian Rabiot? We did a whole thing this morning, KG and myself, talking about how we could be looking at Rabiot on a free contract. Well, he does have an offer from Juventus for a 1-year renewal from Adrian Rabiot, but he is being tempted by Manchester United, according to reports in Italy. In the last few days, though, a certain optimism had grown in Juventus regarding Rabiot. But in the last few hours, United have made a new offer to him, and he's considering a move to England. Again, that's coming from reports in Italy. What about Moises Caicedo? Well, Simon Stone from the BBC is reporting that Man United could disrupt Chelsea's attempts to sign Moises Caicedo by making an offer for the player that Chelsea are interested in. The Manchester Evening News kind of expanding upon that, saying that while Ten Hag had made Mason Mount his top priority, he's accepting of the situation. And now United are looking at alternatives, which does include Moises Caicedo, but it would be more expensive than Mason Mount and could cost around £80 million. But there is an acceptance at United that his age and contractual status make it a different deal. What about Declan Rice? Well, it looks like he's going to be going to either City or Arsenal, but United reportedly are preparing, or at least prepared, to offer Harry Maguire and or Scott McTominay plus cash for Declan Rice. But as I mentioned, City and Arsenal remain the favourites. Someone else that could be considered is Mohamed Kudus from Ajax. He's on United's shortlist, but they're not in pole position. Brighton are the most concretely interested club at the moment and have already had talks with Ajax, who want around 45 million euros. That comes from Mike Verwij from the Netherlands. So I'll start off with you, Marcel, regarding this whole midfielder situation. 3 bids for Mount, 3 bids being rejected. Where do you sit? Where do you think United? Do you think United's going to land him, or what do you think?
Wow, Mason Mount's a very interesting situation, I think. KG's here.
Hey.
Hello, KG.
Good to see you. Sorry I'm late, everybody.
Well,
By the way, you know,
Huh?
the plant's getting bigger.
yeah, innit?
It's a part of me. Yeah.
Getting bigger. But Marcel, continue. Where do you sit on the Mason Mount situation?
Mason Mount is a really interesting situation for us. I think we've done the right thing. We've capped our interests at 55, I think, or 50 million. We're not trying to, play to Chelsea's hand. I think they're trying to push it to a bit further than that, 7 million or so plus add-ons. So I think we've gone about it the right way. We're sticking to our guns on our price, and we've also gone for somebody that I think should be a very important target as well, and Moises Caicedo. So I think we're doing the right things. Mason Mount is someone that I think we should get. I was saying before we should go further. 65 million, even 70 million. I'll be happy personally, me. But the club is saying, 55. 50 million, which I respect and I understand is a good valuation to have somebody that's 1 year contract. So we're doing the right thing. We're saying we're holding to our guns here and we'll wait to see what Chelsea do. But we've also, Owen, I think, gone in for somebody that I think is just as important. I said it when we was talking about what players we should sign in the UV Extra. I said I want Moises Caicedo over Declan Rice. I want Mason Mount, and we need two midfielders. So Mason Mount and Moises Caicedo are both footballers that we should be going in for. It's very simple for me. So I think it's somebody that we will get, but it's something that you have to obviously wait until further into the transfer window to see what happens.
You think you'd be happy for United to spend 70 million on Mason Mount?
Yeah, I think he's a player that's you've still got the sell-on value. I think he'll be a Champions League and Premier League winner, and he's still coming into his prime. So once you reach that prime, 26, 27, 28, 29, English talent, you're looking at 90 million for the player, especially if he reaches his potential 100 and it's 100 and 110 million pound footballer once he reaches that potential. So I don't see that as an issue paying 70 million now, in my opinion. But obviously, and I have to consider, you guys have to be able to take away my opinion from me understanding and respecting the facts of the situation. The facts of the situation is that Manchester United are going in with 55 million. So I'm very happy with that, and I can understand that, and I agree why they're doing it the way that they're doing it.
Oh man, there's so much to break down there, Marcel. Okay, first of all, you're saying that Mason Mount has the potential to be an over 100 million pound footballer.
That's correct.
Minna, what are your thoughts? I mean, I don't even really know what to say.
I mean, I don't agree with it, but like Marcel, he's always entitled to his own opinion. Like,
of course,
as wild as the funny thing is, no one even questioned why he said at the beginning of the video that he's been doing sprints twice a week. Is because he's preparing to get signed by United if we don't sign a midfielder. We're buying him. If we don't get a Mount or Caicedo, we get Marcel. But I think to think that Mason Mount could be 100+ player is wild, given the fact that you look at someone like Jude Bellingham, nearly 5 years younger than him, already 100+ player. He's past that age of going for that value. I think he's past that age. And when you look at that era of the Cobham players, the Loftus-Cheek, Tammy Abraham, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount was the standout one out of all of them. But I don't think he's the one that's probably valued at the most. I think more of that whole group would go for the biggest prize. Mason Mount is just lucky enough to be English and to have a Champions League under his belt. But one thing I would say is, out of Mount and Caicedo, give me Caicedo any day of the week. Any day of the week. For that price as well. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. KG, what are your thoughts on some of Marcel's comments there?
Well, Marcel, I feel he's getting for the hat trick of just wild comments. Last week he said Ten Hag will be better than Sir Alex. We gave him the opportunity to fix it and say, we're talking about the best Man United manager of all time, and he goes, yes. And I was shocked by that. This week I'm not as surprised. I think this is just Marcel doing Marcel things. To say that Mason Mount will go for close to 100, he's going to have to come in and be the best signing we've ever had for that to happen. You know what I mean? That when we really he has to come in and have a bigger impact than Bruno Fernandes. Now I want to know if Marcel sees that, if he feels that this guy's going to come in and have a bigger impact than Bruno Fernandes. I hope it's one of those situations where Marcel's right, but I feel like on this one, he's wrong. Like,
Well, is there anyone at United that's worth 100 million right now?
Marcus Rashford.
Rashi.
Marcus
I don't
Rashford.
even know how much Bruno goes for. How much would Bruno
Yeah.
go for?
I was about to say Bruno Fernandes. I'll definitely put him on there.
I don't know if Bruno's
90
a
million?
player.
90 million? But he's not getting anywhere. He's with us now. I think he signed his last contract, so that's done. But the kind of money we gave him says that he's a 100 million player.
Because I'm just thinking, if you're saying that Mason Mount could become, and because that was, in fairness, that was Marcel's point, he could become a £100 million player. That's basically saying he's going to come in and he's going to be like our best player. He's going to evolve into our best player in that team.
This is it, and I think that's why it's a bit far. It just feels a bit far off the mark. I feel like Marcel's just enjoying himself.
Well, let's just break that down. So you guys are assuming that your £100 million player is your best player. You've just clearly named two players, in a team. So more than one player is what I'm trying to say. It can be worth 100 million. And I think when Man United start performing at their highest level, they'll have multiple £100 million players, and one of them will be Mason Mount. That's just that's clear as ever to me. I'm not trying to say, because even Minna was saying, which one would you pick out the two, Moises Caicedo or Mount? I don't think it's about that. I think Manchester United, and I said it before previously.
Which one would you choose though?
Oh, but then Moises Caicedo, I would choose.
But you believe we'd get both, right? You said that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm coming to that. I believe that Man United should be going in for both. We need two midfielders. Everyone's been saying it, and I believe the two should be Moises Caicedo and Mason Mount. They will perfectly complete the midfield, and they will definitely add quality to the side.
But then with that, if you're saying that we should be getting Mount and Caicedo, and Chelsea want £65 million for Mount, and then you've got Brighton who want 80 million for Caicedo, that's what, £145 million already?
Yeah, that's our budget. That's the current. Yeah, that's the current budget that Man United are dealing with right now. Obviously,
and then you don't get striker and a keeper.
I'd be so disappointed if that was what we done with our money.
So
I'm not. You saying 75 million? Saying 75 million for Mason Mount? You have to understand that's met in his final year of his contract. Are you signing Messi or someone? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So for me personally, like I said, you got to differentiate the two in terms of my opinion as to why I'm saying it. So for me personally, the value what he's going to bring to my manager and what he does for the longevity in terms of year in, year out, what I believe he'll be able to produce is pay that money. Just pay the money required. And even the 65 or whatever it is, because I believe right now it's at 55 plus 7 million add-ons, 62 million or whatever it will be. I would just have paid that straight away just because I know what he's going to bring in the future. It doesn't matter. And then the sell-on value as well, KG. For me, I believe. So then it's a no-brainer, 70 million or anything below that. Man United have done the right thing. And right now it's about us judging the director of football and that trifecta of the manager, the chairman, and the director of football, because they had a last window where they done the right things, but they overpaid. And then we suffered in January. This now I hear, and that's why I understand when people say, "Oh my gosh, 70 million! What are you talking? 70 million? What are you talking about?" I hear what you guys are saying, so that's why I'm saying I respect that they're doing it the way that they're doing it now, and then we have to be able to look at it again this window and say, what are they doing? Are they overpaying for players? Are they sticking to their guns on certain situations? And are they following what Ten Hag wants? And I think if you go for a player like Moises Caicedo, Mason Mount, you've got Højlund there. Harry Kane, we've looked at the players that I'm seeing that we're linked with are all players for me that Ten Hag are on Ten Hag's list. So I think we're doing the right thing so far.
Okay. Well, you mentioned it was about judging the football director, John Murtough. Obviously, the window has been open for a week or so. When did it open? The 14th, 12 days it's been open. Difficult to judge him so far, but in totality of last year's window, the January window, and the little bit of how we're operating at the moment, I mean, we can go around. I'll start with UKG. How would you judge John Murtough so far in his, I guess, again, it's his second summer window, but so far in his third window?
We'll take it. Oh, is this his third window? Oh, because the January one, damn. Weghorst and that is just like a minus. You have to get a minus for that. You know what, though? If we're being fair, we have to wait and to see what kind of deals we do in this window to really judge him, because I was happy with the Casemiro, Martinez, Ericsson. That was a good window, and those players that we bought in were first teamers, and they bought us third place. So we can't pretend as if those signings didn't work. Now the January was where it got a bit in terms of the Wakehorse move. Who else did we bring in? Did we bring anyone else in Jan?
Sabitzer and Jack Butland.
Well, Butland didn't even touch the pitch. I don't think he saw anything. But I think if we even if there's that deal, like let's say he managed to do the Rice deal, the Declan Rice for McTominay and Maguire, that's easily like the deal of the season for me. If he was to pull off that, what could you say? Really, is no one in agreement with that? I mean, ain't that a powerful deal? If you did that, you've done something incredible.
I don't disagree, but it's just a lot of ifs, isn't it? That I'm like,
this is it, but we can't judge him. It's too at the moment. It's premature to judge him because we're waiting to see the January window. Not a lot happens in Jan, so you can say, we can give him a blight. But if he gets the summer window right and we bring in the right players, like let's say the Caicedo deal goes through, or a Declan Rice thing happens and we get some players off the books, we're gonna say, well, he's done better than what his predecessor.
Minna, would you say then, because I guess the point that KG's trying to make is that you've got to give him a couple of windows, and this is his second one, and a bit like with last year's one, at the beginning certainly didn't like it was going too well, but at the end of it, got the players we needed, or certainly Ten Hag wanted, got third place. I suppose the follow-up question to that would be then, do you think John Murtough and just Manchester United in a wider sense have learnt their lessons from last year's summer transfer window, or is it kind of the same as it was last year?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know about learning the lesson, because the Mason Mount thing, the only difference with the whole Frankie de Jong thing last year is that they've walked away after their third bid. That's the only difference, where they've kept it on the table.
Well, have they?
Have they? We don't even know. We're just being told that. Now I'm hearing that Mason Mount is looking to go on pre-season with Chelsea and Pochettino. So again, could that be a De Jong 2.0? I don't think they've learned anything. Maybe they've learned now not to get their pants pulled down every time they go to go bid for a player, because we got held for ransom, 100 million for Anthony. To be honest, the summer transfer window, we waited far too long before we were kind of clinical in the transfer window, before we went for Casemiro, etc. We only went into the season, I think it was Ericsson and Martinez that we signed. We waited to hold 4 against Brentford and then lose the opening game to then go and sign Casemiro, etc. Or because we've spent so long in June/July chasing players that had no intention to come to Manchester United. So I don't think they've learned much. I can't really say that they've learned much.
Yeah, that's my concern with this window, is it just kind of feels similar to last year. And don't get me wrong, is I totally understand that it is different circumstances with the takeover stuff too at the moment. And I think that does play a part in it. But just like, Marcel, does it feel the same as you like last year? Again, when it's like, well, because we're almost getting a bit mocked at the moment, aren't we? You know what I mean? Sort of Talks FC, monitoring FC. And it kind of feels like it's kind of the same at the moment, does it not?
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit, because obviously I feel like we got a clear. We're kind of seeing that Ten Hag kind of has a bit more of a plan, a little bit, but I do worry. I do worry that they missed out on Kim and Jade, because they're dragging their heels on certain things, not being decisive in terms of the allocation of their funds and their priorities. What is most important to Man United right now? The club, a lot of the fans, and we're all speculating on it, but the club should have a clear aim of who they think, what position is the most important position to strengthen in, and they should have gone into the market within the first couple of weeks and executed that. So I do think we are being a bit slow, but the type of footballers are the right type of footballers that we're bringing in. So that's a positive. And like everyone's kind of been alluding to, it's very early to kind of make these calls on the ability that they have in the market at the moment. I think it's quite early.
By the way, yeah, like
they're
the
on
Leaf
fire.
fans.
There was one from Ahmed the Sun that said, "Oh man, where is it gone?" People talking about turning over a new leaf, but there was a really funny one, man. So someone said leave KG alone and stuff. It's really funny anyway.
Someone said K-Tree.
At least doing his own thing.
It's just there though, kind of like
Support. Someone called it my support plan, just to help me through these. They're not crazy.
I just get worried that like it's one of those leaves that actually like eat people. You know what I mean? At one point, KG's just gonna disappear. A bit of news actually that's breaking while we're live. It's been reported from the Telegraph that Harry Maguire is an option for Spurs, but the club are yet to say if they will make a bid. Interest though has been registered. KG. Maguire to Spurs. Question is how much? How much? Oh, Kane. You could get Kane involved in that, would you?
Absolutely. I'd have to try. Again, these lot are not rolling in finances themselves. So again, Harry Maguire and some money to prize out Kane. Why not? We're trying that move with Declan Rice, apparently. So why not? That's the move that you'll try. If they say, we're not interested in that, we just want Harry Maguire, even that, we'll try that 40 million. I think that's a good, I really like that. I'm surprised that their managers go in for a defender like this, but hey, it's a big club. What are you lot thinking?
Someone said poison Gary.
Minna, I love that fit. Is that a Lakers top as well?
Of course
Damn.
it is. It's a Kobe one.
Man, that's wicked. Yeah. Feeling the colours as well. That's nice. That's real nice.
Minna, what do you think about possibly Maguire going to Spurs? Is there any chance? What do you think he'll actually do this summer? Because there's still reports that he might try and fight out his place at United.
No, I think he'll leave. Especially when Southgate said that he's on thin ice right now with the Euros next year. He'll definitely leave to get playing time. He'll want to be fit and be in good shape. If we can mix him in for a trade, like basketball settings, slap 50 million on top and get a Harry Kane.
Oh my goodness.
I'll take it. But Sancho better not be included in that deal. I know Spurs have been actually interested in Sancho as well. So I don't want to see him in that mix. Swap the two Harrys, put 30 million, 40 million on top, and we're good to go.
Well, here's one though. KG's talking about swaps, whatever. And I know it don't work like this because it's not FIFA and it's not Football Manager. But let's say Spurs are interested in Maguire and Sancho. Would you be willing to swap? Would you be willing to swap a Sancho and Maguire for Harry Kane?
Absolutely not. No.
Yes. Is this a straight swap, Owen? Is this a straight swap?
Straight swap.
Yeah. No questions.
Why?
Immediately, because exactly what we need. And both of those footballers right now are both looking. Sancho's still, the jury's still out on Sancho, obviously, but he's better off him do that apprenticeship, or that proving himself in the Premier League. It's better off him do that elsewhere. We can't afford to carry him at the moment. We are on a mission, and Harry Kane completes that mission for us. We can even survive without Harry Maguire. Even if your question was as far as it's the last day of the window and you go in with the squad right now, I would rather two less players in for the one that is very key to our system and our shape. And I would take Harry Kane, straight away.
Let me ask Minna a question, or it's to you as well, Mars. Like, what if Sancho starts killing it though? Don't you think you've been robbed? That you've literally sold one of your youth, a young player, for someone that is, yes, he at the twilight of his career, but it just feels like a mad deal to make. I would rather give money and Harry Maguire than give them Sancho. Like, I don't know.
Same.
We have to focus on our process. So it doesn't. There's world-class footballers everywhere doing world-class stuff everywhere. That's a fact that you need to part ways with. There's gonna be, Ronaldo's gonna go over there and be world-class over there. He's not here anymore doing it. That's Sancho. We all know Sancho has great potential, but he's not doing it here. We need footballers to do it here. So you're only as good as your last football match, and his last one wasn't good enough. So it's like, okay, go over there and do your apprenticeship, learn the Premier League, go over there, and we wish you well. But the footballers here have to be doing it here. So, for me, it's a no-brainer with Sancho. That's why I was saying it before. You guys were asked 45 mil, take him off the books. 50 mil, take him off the books. 55 mil, take him off the books. You want the proper footballer here now that's putting up your 6, 7, 8, 9s out of 10s now. You want them playing in your team now. And even as far as Ten Hag's done, he's done absolutely everything to try and get this, to cultivate this Sancho that we all want. So yes, we do need to see another season potentially, but we're hoping we're going to be in the Champions League expecting. We want to be expecting from the players now, not hoping still.
Wow. Mena, what are you doing? Do you like that deal?
Nah, I got 1 more year invested in Sancho stocks. I got 1 year left in it. I think the first year, his first season at United was just a roller coaster. Just the whole club was a mess, top down. His second season, it was difficult for him. He had things outside of football impacting him. Went away, got sent on pilgrimage for like 4 months, came back. So I can't judge him on. That's why I'm saying I'm giving him 1 more season. But I think the price tag weighs heavy on him, the shirt weighs heavy on him, and then the wages weigh heavy. Not on him because his pockets are fat, but it's going to weigh heavy on whoever we try to offload him onto. I got 1 more year left in him. 1 more year.
That is outrageous.
That is absolutely.
That is outrageous.
That's the one. That's the
KG's in disbelief.
I enjoyed that one. That's good. That was really good.
Thing is, though, KG, you're saying, what if Sancho goes to Spurs and does really well? He's not. I don't think he would.
No, I just want to get paid. I want us to get paid properly. That's all.
Yeah, but I mean, you were saying earlier on about being creative and getting deals done and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is that not a creative solution? If that was the way to get Harry Kane, and is that not, from a Spurs point of view, is that not better than money? Because they say Harry Kane is priceless. Because that's how they view him. Even with a year left, he's priceless. And you went that you getting 2 England internationals, Maguire, Sancho, boom.
It's you know what? It's the fact of, I just feel like Sancho's worth more than what he's showing at the moment. So I kind of want to. I'm like with Minna. I want to give him another year and say, look, Sancho, get your mind right. You could really be the right. You could be the guy that's playing on the right hand side for this team. That's what I kind of. That's the future I want. I want Sancho to have a Rashford-esque season where mentally he checks in and he starts getting the numbers and the goals that we thought we was getting before. Like, I'm not ready to. It's so young to give up on Sancho now. I'm going to stay in. I'm sticking in there for another year.
On 350k a week. Sorry, Owen. On 350k a week.
I need to see something again, because we can't get him off the. You guys are telling me that if we try to sell him because his wages are so high, we have to sell him for a cut price. Well, that doesn't really work for me then. So I'm saying, well, he has to find form and get into this team and be the player that we know he can be. One thing we're all aware of is there is talent there. There's immense talent there, but then where he's not showing it. So now we're saying, well, how can we get the best out of Sancho? And that's the challenge of preseason. That's the challenge on Sancho and the challenge on the manager. I would rather do that than just see him walk away for like nothing. Like it just wouldn't feel right, you know. And then it's another player where it's like we're looking probably a year and so and say, look, we got a passport down on that deal. And then again, Man United will be saying we don't do proper deals. You know, that should be a player. Again, if you say that Mason Mount is somewhere can be worth 100 million, then how does Sancho's depreciate so drastically like this? No,
the Ed Woodwardness, like I was speaking about, I think last week, I think it was Ed Woodward is the reason why you pay a player 350k a week with not enough proof in the Premier League. And then getting all Maguire, we're struggling to get return on investment on Maguire. It's because bankers have made those decisions of purchasing him the club under these terms and conditions. The same for Sancho, the same for Fred. All these footballers that we're seeing now, their value be 10, 15, 20 million more. Because once footballers come in and evaluate them and look at them and their wage structure and what they've been getting paid, the value drastically drops. And Sancho now looks like a 45, 50, 60 million pound player that he always was, not the 80 million pound player, because you haven't been able to do it in the Premier League yet. That's the Ed Woodwardness, and that takes a long time. How long is he going to be expected to be paid 350k? The contract's till what, 2024, 2025? So he's expecting that wages for how, like, it's ludicrous to pay that. So now you have to bite the bullet at some stage and get in a Matoma and get in a St. Maximum, a hungry footballer that wants to be aggressive on the ball and play the attacking kind of style of football. We're killing ourselves because we don't want to make the cutthroat decision now on a player that's not really producing to the right stand. Imagine giving him the number 7 on the work that he's currently produced.
You couldn't get a 7 on what he's done now.
No. Let me get these super chats here. Keegan says, HR needs to give Marcel a drug test. My life. Ahmad says, should be getting and actually getting are two very different things, dear Marcel. Biggie Third says, we're just a hopeless club. How Tielemans went to Villa on a free and we didn't have a go at him. Surely he's an improvement on Eriksen. I don't know.
Not for me. Not at all.
Red Baron says, what was the last deal United sold? Wow, other than Dan James?
Welbeck, I think.
The Lukaku deal, we made pretty much our money back, didn't we?
Oh, Lukaku, yeah, we made pretty much. We didn't make all of it back, but majority of it, yeah.
Yeah. Memphis to Pie says, Salim, we're becoming Arsenal fans slowly. Troy Taylor says, facts, Marcel, I would take Kane for Sancho. Memphis also says, price is 45 mil because of wages, something we spoke about this morning regarding Jadon Sancho. RK says, our rivals are strengthening every day and we cannot sign or even sell one. Feel for Erik ten Hag, but I don't see a signing before the first preseason game. It was a question I was going to get to in a bit. WJ Barrett says, we can't sell Sancho, no way. This year, cooking. I have to wait and see. WJ Barrett always with the positivity. Also, just in the last few minutes, Ben Jacobs has retweeted like a column he's done regarding some Chelsea news. But it's quite interesting what he's saying here. So he's still saying, Ben Jacobs, that Mount to Manchester United is likely to get done. And the Moises Caicedo fee is closer to £70 million plus £10 million. But he's also said, brackets, United not serious, suggesting that, again, the interest in Caicedo might be more to kind of threaten Chelsea, maybe, to accept this Mason Mount offer. There's also been some reports from the guys at 90 Minutes suggesting that Chelsea have now dropped their asking price to £60 million for Mason Mount, which is still 5 away from what United are willing to pay. Minna, what do you think about that latest development there when it comes to Mason Mount? That, again, I mean, this was something that people were sort of suggesting when it came out that we were interested in Caicedo. Is that, how real is that interest? And is this just leveraging from John Murtough?
I don't listen to anything that guy says, that reporter.
He has been right, though.
Also, that 60, okay, lowering it to 60 million, they need to go lower. 60 million is still too much. And if United pay that, then I wouldn't be happy with that. And I did feel like, to be honest, that news of Caicedo, I did feel like it was a blackmailing technique that Manchester United were doing, because suddenly we walk away from the offer, from the bid, with the offer still on the table. We're going to go and sign the player that you're interested in. I did feel like we weren't that serious anyway. So that I kind of believe, but I feel like 60 million is too much. And my only concern is that every midfielder that we've been linked to in this window are all different playing styles. Their fundamentals are quite similar in terms of their engine, you know, they run, they work hard and all of that, but their technical abilities and what they're really good at is all quite different. You look at Caicedo, you look at Mount, we've been linked to, obviously, Rabiot, we've been linked to Kudus, we've been linked to Mohamed Kudus, who to me is not even in the same bracket in terms of Caicedo's and the Mason Mounts in terms of what he does. So we should really be questioning what is going on, because it seems like every target for our midfielders is a different type of midfielder, and that's just chaos.
No, it's true. It's true. You wouldn't say that Mount, Caicedo, Kudus, and Rice are all similar players. They're all totally different in how they operate. So I'm not really. I agree with you with that. Actually, it's a good point. Marcel, I don't want to just talk about midfielders for forever in today's stream. I also want to talk about goalkeepers. So I'm going to come to you. It's a big week in terms of goalkeepers because, of course, come the end of the week, David De Gea might not be a Manchester United player anymore. He's got, as of today, it's the 26th. Come Friday, that might be his final day as a Manchester United player. And then Saturday, July 1st, he could be a free agent. There were quite a few reports last week regarding Onana and his agent meeting up with Manchester United representatives in Manchester. But then there were also reports suggesting that David De Gea and United could come back to the table regarding a new contract because of the budgetary situation currently going on at Manchester United. What's your prediction? What's your prediction in terms of where this is going to go this week? Do you think De Gea's contract is going to expire and we're going to move on? Do you think we're going to get to the end of the week and it's like, well, his contract expired, but it's still not resolved yet? Where do you think this is going to go?
Most probably it goes to the last minute. Like Man United have kind of been poor with business, so we'll start as we mean to go on. We'll deliberate on it, and something will someone will have to, give way in some sort of way. I guess David De Gea will most probably take less wages because, like you said, there is a budgeting situation. I'm happy to spend the whole budget on 2 midfielders and Caicedo and Mount. And people say that's crazy. But that also means that you have to accept that David De Gea plays for us for another season, which is something that I've been that I've understood is a possibility, for a long period of time now. But spending 40 million on Nana, I think is a very, very good piece of business there, for the club and in terms of the direction we want to go in. So my guess would be that unfortunately he signs another deal on smaller terms. But I would be very happy. Listen, if Qatar comes in, I think scrap the whole thing. You get the world-class players come in and there's no real issues. And I think that's why maybe it's taken so long. I think hopefully I would really like to hear, guys, some news about the Qataris coming in or something's happened and we can start really making big moves in the market.
KG, what do you think when it comes to a goalkeeping situation this week?
You know what? Like, I'm kind of like counting down the days and hoping it just happens and he becomes a free agent. It's sad the way it's sad the way it's ending, but I do want it to end. I want us to look forward. A lot of things have just not happened with this. It's like we've been in limbo this whole time as Man United fans. Limbo with the goalkeeper, limbo with the striker, limbo in midfield, limbo in ownership, and this is the one thing that you can say is ending. Like, we do have a raw timeline. If once he becomes a free agent, 1st of July, it's done, and now if we want to sign him, we got to put money down, it's not our player, it's a free agent. And I'll be honest, I am looking forward to that, just to say that part of our era is complete, it's done now, and we're moving forward, because I'll be sad if, let's say Friday, they announce he signed a new contract. I'm like, where's this club going? Then after the Onana thing,
that would be your reaction. That would be your reaction if they come out Friday, go, Dave stays, #. What would your reaction be? Would it be a negative one?
It's negative. I'll just be, me. I'll be, the low grumbles of FNL. My typical vibe.
Fuck no, man. Fuck.
That'll be me, because it's just sad. Like, I think we need to. What I'm excited about is we're gonna play a different brand of football next season, and I can see David Gea's limitations, and I'm kind of tired of him kind of letting us down in a sense of in moments where you have to. I almost feel like we have to prop David De Gea up and say that he's this, he's that, but then we're missing the glaring obvious in terms of the errors in games are becoming far too many for me, for a keeper that's supposed to be on the elite level. And you say to yourself, well, how come no big teams have tried to snap him up? Right now, David De Gea should be talking to so many clubs. And it seems like it's a club in Saudi that's is checked in, but no other clubs. What the hell is that?
It was even reported, I think, from the Mirror in that thing we're saying De Gea and United could come back to the table, is they were suggesting that De Gea and his sort of representatives were optimistic about staying because they were looking at United's budget going, they'll probably make a financial decision and they'll keep you because it's cheaper than getting another keeper. And I thought, like, that's the opposite of backing your own ability. That's like you going, I know I'm not that good, or I'm not what the manager wants, rather, but it doesn't matter because they can't afford to get another goalkeeper. Shouldn't it be the reverse of be like, no, they'll give you what you want because you're worth it, sort of thing? So to me, I look at that and go, I don't know, but it's just another, to your point about being in limbo. It's just another part, isn't it? Like you said, in every situation, all of our targets, do we know really what direction they're going to go in? We don't. We genuinely don't. We don't know which striker we're going to get. That's our top priority. Midfielder, we're assuming still at this point it might be Mason Mount. Maybe. We don't know. Goalkeeper, we don't. I mean, it feels 50-50-ish, whether it's going to be Onana or whether it's going to be De Gea. And the taker, we still don't even know who's going to own the club beginning of next season too. And it feels like it's just a continuation of everything. Vinus, speaking of that then, where do you think it's going to go with De Gea?
I told you guys, he's going to Saudi Arabia. He got an offer from Al Ahly and he got an offer from Al Ittihad. If he was smart, he got a 2-year offer up to $70 million. If he was smart, he would just take it. But I think he is waiting on Manchester United. And if I was him, I'd take the money. But it says a lot that you're 31. You ain't even coming to the end of your goalkeeping career. You've been shunned out of your national team. You're never playing in a World Cup or a Euro or not even the Nations League. You're not even going to play in Nations League ever again. Not even going to play in a friendly. Yeah, you're not even. Maybe you might play in like a national charity game when they're raising money for something in Spain. But you're not even going to play in any sort of competition, which is sad. And you're fighting for your life to stay at a club that has basically is like they've got a piece of paper and they're saying, do we want him? Do we want him not? Do we want him? And they're just going like this with the contract nonstop. If I was him, I would just leave. You need to know your value. You need to know your worth. Not even your value. You just need to know your worth as a person. I hope next week, Friday, they do a fax machine 2.0 on De Gea. And I don't mean this in a mean way or anything. Like when they forgot to send the fax machine
Sounds pretty mean.
Real Madrid,
It is mean.
they forget to send him the contract. And it doesn't happen because we've passed that time. And honestly, how can you be in talks for a whole year of a new contract? Do you know how crazy that is? That's like you coming to an end of a relationship, and for a whole year you're just like, oh, should we stay together? Should we not? Should we stay together? Should we not? At that point, you're like, it's toxic. We need to go our separate ways.
And the only reason you ended up splitting up is because your tenancy agreement expired. Well, I guess we're going to split up. We're not staying.
So you had no other choice.
It wasn't anything to do with a decision that you guys made. You just ran out of time in your decision that you were going to make.
But one thing I think he's been robbed of is if he does leave, he's been robbed of an opportunity to say bye to fans in an appropriate way for someone who has been a long time servant of the club. And that is on Arnold, Murtough, whoever's dealing with these contract stuff. If they knew that they were going to pursue a goalkeeper in the transfer window, they should have let him Fulham at home the last game of the season. They should have allowed him and allowed the fans to be aware that this is his last home game. 11 years service to the club. Give him a good send-off. It's the least that he deserves. But now he potentially could leave. And then it's just very much a social media post. We've come to the end of the road. Word to boys to men. That's sad.
KG, what are you going to say?
Again, it's just you don't want to. For me, I don't want a keeper that has been put in a situation like this. It shows me a bit about the player's personality. You know, it's like he just letting just be taken, gone with the wind, basically. Kind of like this leaf, like he's just gonna just blow wherever the wind takes him. And I hate that. I hate the fact that he's sitting there just waiting. You know, you want players to have a bit of bite about them, a bit of fight about them, and him being in a situation, it's not good for him. You know, it's your team has shown you an air of disrespect by the way they're treating you. You've been at this club, you've been a great servant to this club, and this is the way they're treating you. Slam the door and keep it moving. Go and make the money. Imagine after they treat you like this, they say to you, "You're not even a starter." Excuse me, who the hell are you lot talking to? I'm telling you, how Dean Henderson. You know how Dean Henderson sounds? That's how David De Gea should be sounding, and it will be fine. Everyone will, is fine. You know what? He has a fair enough right with the club. It makes sense. No one. This is ridiculous, man. Oh my goodness. He just needs to go. He needs to leave, just on his own, for his own pride now.
So if it was you and you'd heard, oh, actually they're talking with Onana, and also like you'd agreed like months ago, if they said to you, David, it's going to be 200k a week. You got to get it down. You're not going to be, we're not going to guarantee you're going to be number one. And you go, yeah, okay. And then it gets to now and it still hasn't done. Would you be like, no, I'm not going to sign it anymore?
You would have known what I was on. 2-foot tackle on the technical director. Everyone's going to hold a 2-foot tackle because you can't treat me like this. You man have been dangling the contract like a carrot, like I'm a donkey for so long. Now you can't. No way. I'm going to get home. I'll probably go live. I'll probably sit down with kids. These are the things that I'd have for, these are the things I'd be moving mad. And he deserves to be out of control. And he hasn't been. He's actually still been a perfect, like, the perfect player in terms of how he's looked after the club, never spoke about the club in a bad way, even though the club's done him dirty. So you never know. Maybe what he has to say is going to come out in memoirs, and then memoirs are going to sting when he leaves in a book. Maybe we're going to get that later.
But even I was going to say something. Even when we were really bad, like the last couple of years, every time we had poor performances, it was always him, not Harry Maguire. It was always him that would come out and speak to the media. And even though at that point it was like we're hearing the same stuff every time, he was a leader in his own way. So the fact that the club have done this with this contract situation to him, I remember back in March they were saying that the deal was finalized and is just ready to be signed by both of them. And now it's like, oh, both the club is just waiting. It's disrespectful the way that I know I went on a rant about the fact that his career is coming to an end, which is kind of sad. But he's still been a good servant of the club, and the way that they've treated him is actually horrible. And even what KG said about Dean Henderson's personality is what people like David De Gea should have, because he has every right to have that kind of personality. Dean Henderson doesn't. He doesn't have a right to have that sort of personality and betting on himself and all that. Yeah, you can bet on yourself as a player, but the way that he talks in the media, especially that interview he did, David De Gea should be at that point in his career right now. He should just come out and just talk a lot of smack. I feel sorry for him, and I hope he goes and gets his bag like the rest of everyone else that's going to Saudi Arabia. But it's honestly sad on both ends.
What do you think's changed? What do you think's changed there? With, like you mentioned in March or February, whenever Ten Hag was asked about De Gea, he said, "We want him to stay. He wants to stay. We'll find each other." Like, Marcel, what do you think's changed? Like between now and then, or was Ten Hag doing an ollie going, "Yeah, it's all bullshit"? It's just like,
no, Ten Hag does this. On the Red Room, we've been speaking about this for a little while. Ten Hag's very respectful about his players in the public, but behind closed doors, he knows what the deal is. I think he knew from day one De Gea at some stage has to leave, and he just waiting for the right opportunity to get him out the door. Obviously, he tried to be as respectful like he does for all the players, Maguire, Ronaldo, even Donny. He's been respectful. He's been honest. He's tried to be encouraging, positive. He doesn't like to, show weakness about his house and his family. So he's done the right things in terms of their PR and how he presents them to the public. It's just behind closed doors. I think Ten Hag knew from day one that this player was surplus to requirements.
Let me get to these super chats here. Austin Baker says, sign Taylor Booth, he's going to be a baller. We were linked to him earlier today. I did see that. Ishak says, ignore the haters, KG. Even Chisora drives a smart car. WJ Barrett says, you want that inconsistent Gucci headband wearing a fool. No way he's dead. Bring in a striker and you'll see Dortmund Sancho. Was that Tomas talking about bringing in Sam Maximan, I think. Paselo says, Ben Jacobs is never right. Agreeing with Minna. WJ Barrett says, I can't believe everyone is on Rihanna like this. Onana, what's his name? He's a madman like Valderrama. We get him, it will end in tears. Costa or we keep De Gea. WJ Barrett doesn't want Onana whatsoever. Did anyone see that video of Onana scoring a goal, by the way, on Twitter? No. There's him. I think it's in like a training match or whatever, and he runs and scores a goal. I do agree with what people are saying, like, he can't do that but surely he wouldn't be doing that kind of stuff at Old Trafford in the Premier League. We're talking like carrying the ball to the halfway line. Surely not, KG. Pulled his thing out, didn't he?
I did. I missed it.
I said surely Onana would be doing that in the Premier League. That kind of recklessness.
Well, again, if it happens, we got what we paid. We got what we asked for. We said we wanted someone to play out from the back. He's taking it literally. Like, he's serious about it. So we can't complain. We say football, because every time he does it, I will look at Marcel. That will be all I'll be doing. I'll be looking over saying, what is he asked for? He said, a modern day keepers, shot stopping is not what it's about. I want to see him play out from the back. Well, that's what he's doing. Everybody, this is what we asked for. Enjoy it. This is the bed. You know when you say you made your bed, now it's time to lie on it. We all must lie in this.
KG proper turned into a parent with that. You got what you wanted.
You got what you wanted. Let's go. This is our future now.
Yeah. Joshua says, De Jong saga about to restart. Strap in, folks. GJE says, if United want to move forward as a club, David De Gea's got to go. Joshua also saying, news spreading that Barca are open to good offers for Frankie. Strapping for another ride, folks. I haven't seen that, but you never know. Ooh, KG.
Oh.
Red Baron says, does Marcel operate in our time? He's very still. Marcel, you still outside of time?
Yeah, I'm shape-shifting, time traveling, all the lot, everything else.
How are you time
Shape-shifting.
traveling if you don't believe in time? You're just traveling then.
Yeah, well, thank you for the correction. Just traveling.
Man, that's funny, man.
It's because I've sat there off camera and had these conversations. You think like it might be all for streaming. I've had these conversations about time travel and stuff with Marcel for like 45 minutes. It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Marcel's beliefs are strong. And it's just Danny says, Eric Ten Hag said he wanted CR7 to stay. He's a poker player. Just very quickly before we wrap things up, guys. When does tour start, KG? Is it what, like a couple of weeks? Something like that?
A couple of weeks. We've got the first game. We've got a random game in it's the Oslo one, is the first one.
Yeah, Oslo.
Yeah,
Oslo,
Oslo.
yeah.
We got a game in, what's
12th of
that, the
July.
12th of July. The tour starts on the 12th of July, and then after the real one is like 18th, New York.
So we're what, about 2 and a bit weeks away from tour beginning.
No one's coming.
I'm going to go around. Yes. Are we going to have any signings in before we go on tour? Or full
Yes.
tour? So, I'll start with you, Marcel. Yeah. You're saying yes?
Yes.
And who's that going to be?
Wow, that's difficult. I'm gonna say Mason Mount comes in 2 weeks. He's
KG?
a Manchester United player. 2 weeks.
Nah, I don't think anyone will be here. Sorry. I think the way this thing is, we're gonna be welcoming a player that's been here before. I think David De Gea is gonna sign the contract and it's all gonna be said and done, and we're gonna be like, more years for David.
Or do you think it would be De Gea and Rashford? That's our signings for June.
People are saying Onana. That's another good shout. Onana or Mount before the next 2 weeks.
Don't do that
Definitely.
to yourself. Nah. It's not happening.
Minna, what did you say?
I think maybe one player. It'll be Onana or Rabiot. I think it'll be a free player or a relatively affordable player.
I'm going to say I agree that we're going to have a player in by then. And you know what I'm going to say is the goalkeeper. I think I do think if David De Gea goes at the end of this week, I do think that will happen fairly quickly. Because I think even United will realise, like, we can't, like, if De Gea's got, we actually genuinely have to get a goalkeeper. We can't mess around with that. Like, we cannot risk.
I feel like he's staying. Everything feels like he's going to stay now.
I don't know. And finally, Ahmad says, this has been the Leaf view. What does the Leaf think, KG?
Our plants. That's it.
Our plants.
Oh, get out of here.
We're out of here. Peace.